Okay, so creating a pure planet. This is the first meeting here. Thanks for joining. Gabrielle and Chad, you guys are great. I'm so glad you're here. And for whoever else watches this later on, we're going to continue this momentum, and you're invited to co-create with us. The goal for this is we could possibly create an organization together if we want to. We can set goals and fundraising, and we can have money to support our time invested in this. So this is a big problem, and there's going to be support for it. So I'm showing up to create this momentum, to get this wave started. I'm paddling out. Get your board, join me on the ocean. We're going to catch this wave. We're going to have a great time. So to create a pure planet, we have to first want it. We have to first want this. And if we look around, we see the world's sick, right? What really inspired me recently is I've been detoxing myself from heavy metals, and my energy is getting a lot better. I'm feeling a lot better. And even my EMF sensitivity is going less. I can still tune into it and I'm aware of it, but it's not as debilitating as it was. Like my own aura is getting stronger. So heavy metals work deep into the body. They break it up. They disrupt the cellular functions. And it's something we can't see. So it's like this invisible war we're having and we can't see it. So people are consuming food. They have no idea. They're eating organic food like myself, thinking it's clean, but it's not, because organic food is not tested for heavy metals. It's only tested if they're spraying pesticides. So this is a big problem. And the current Make America Healthy Again movement is not talking about this that I can see. I'm sure that there's a lot of things to focus on and they're doing what they can, but this is a wave to help support this momentum and to add to the conversation so that we can achieve our goals of really purifying America and the world. Because as we change America, we change the world. What we do in our food system affects the world. So I'm down in Belize and they're having food that comes from America or comes from Mexico, and this is all connected. So we are a bit of the leaders of the world, right? So what we do here is going to affect the rest of the world. So to show up in service and to help, we're gonna help a lot of people, millions, billions of people. And so this is a really important moment right now, and to capitalize on this, to take advantage of this moment, to when people are waking up, like, okay, what are the problems? Is it pesticides? Is it food dyes? Is it sugar? What is it? So this is something that we can't see that is disrupting us at a deep cellular level. And I've been detoxing myself and I'm feeling better. Welcome, Jeff. Welcome, Jeff. And okay, so I'm starting the presentation here, and this is about us being here together. Again, I'm gonna keep the meetings going. We have the opportunity to create goals together. We could raise funds. We could bring money in to support all of us in this. So I'm gonna stay focused on this. I'm gonna keep the ball rolling, but ultimately I want to empower all of us in our own ways, however we do it, but just to keep on this task, to look at everything in our life, our soil, our water, our food, our air, and our own bodies. Where are the toxins? Where are they coming from? How can we remove them? This is a long-term plan. I don't know how long this is going to take, but it has to start. It has to start now because our health and our lives depend on it. But we're getting sick and we don't have to be living this way. So the problems to solve. So the current situation is we have about a 40% risk of getting cancer. I mean, this is like red alert, right? And like I was saying before, this heavy metal issue is not currently being discussed in the Make America Healthy Again movement. And the document I've read the two documents that have come out so far, and they're not talking about this issue. And I think this is a root issue. I was hoping that this movement was going to purify all the farms. We were going to go all organic. We were going to be, radically transforming things. And maybe we are, maybe that's still in the works, but I haven't seen it. All what I heard in the last document was, oh, it's going to be, we don't want to rattle the boat, or we don't want to change things because things are going to get, we could totally disrupt our food supply. And I think maybe deeper in this is like if we really start looking at our soils, it's going to be a big eye-opening. Be like, oh my God, our food really is toxic. Could affect exports, but it's not just us. I mean, this is happening anywhere we've been spraying pesticides and been doing conventional agriculture. All the soils around the world and the waterways, they're all polluted. So this is not going to fall on our shoulders. It's going to fall on everybody who's has been participating. And then we can support that with technology and knowledge to support this purifying. So I believe this is one of the root issues of our health crisis. And like I said before, I've been detoxing. I'm starting to feel better. I've been using chlorella, spirulina, fulvic acid from shilajit, drinking lots of pure water, and I've also been trying a zeolite. And what really was amazing on this product that I looked at was there was moms on there saying their children had autism for like 10 years, and then they started giving them this, which is to detox metals and toxins from the body. It's like pulls it out like a magnet. They were saying the autism was reversing in their kids. It, like I saw a few comments on that. I was like mind blowing. Um, so this could be that root issue. There's a lot of debate on what's going on with autism, and so heavy metals is a big piece of it. Also, the V's that they're shooting into people that that has toxins in it, including heavy metals. So the theory is that the kids' bodies get overwhelmed. The detox systems aren't functioning properly. Also, we live a very sedentary lifestyle. We're not exercising and like sweating this stuff out. That's one way to release it. So I've been embracing sweating, working out outside, building this sanctuary in Belize. And those guys also, they don't eat so pure, but they're sweating every day and they don't mind it. So I think that's a big piece of it is that in America we have it so nice and we're not detoxing and being active. Also, we're active where the parts of our body, the lymph nodes are pumping out whatever's in there, it's stagnant. These detoxing pathways in our body, they don't work unless we're moving. We have to be jumping and lifting and bending and to be able to release these the liquid, the fluid has to get pumped out. And so being active, sweating, that's part of it, making sure our kids are out playing, not on their phones. I mean, it's time to reinvent ourselves here and go back a ways to like how things used to be and remembering how life used to be. So one of the things that tripped me out on this when I started looking into it is it's not only in our soils, but it's also in our seas. And so I'm gonna talk about that next about the sea salts that we found through Blood Safe Mama. I'm gonna talk about that next. So just to be over, to give an overview here, it's in everything. These we've sprayed this on our crops for a long time. It's gotten in the soil, it gets in the water, it's gotten in our food, it's getting in our bodies, and our bodies are kind of like acting like a filter in a way. Doesn't have to be that way, and we can be filtering it out of the soil. And that's the goal that I want to get us to. And these heavy metals are disrupting the body's functioning. It's like an engine. We're throwing a wrench into the engine and the body stops working and things back up and we get tired, we get brain fog, even cancers. There's so much happening. So this is an invisible thing, but we can test it. We can find this. So one thing that really blew me away, which is it's in addition to heavy metals, it's a whole nother piece of the puzzle that I don't really see anyone talking about, which is radiation. So here in Florida, my deep well water had cesium-137, which comes from nuclear sources. And I've also just tested my drinking water, which has alpha radiation. And there's different qualities to the radiations, but ultimately you can get them removed mostly from reverse osmosis. But the farmlands, they're just spraying it on their crops. And so this can get in the food. And so this is one of the things I want to test for myself. I want to start testing all the food that I'm eating and finding out, okay, is there radiation in my food? Is there heavy metals in my food. So I'm going to start testing that. That's one of the tasks I want to do for this group is I'm going to be testing what I'm eating, but I'd love for you to be testing what you're eating or coming together in your community, finding farms that you can source from. Because part of the issue is we have a commodities market. So people are growing beans or corn or whatever, and it gets just bagged and lumped in. And so we need to be able to track and trace where our food's coming from so that we can make sure that we're getting a trusted source. When I called the governments here about this issue, they just admitted they don't do any testing and they got uncomfortable about it. And were like, oh, you should just talk to the federal government around it. So that was kind of concerning to me about Florida. It's one of the reasons I've started looking elsewhere for like long-term farmland. There might be more in like North Florida where Chad is. That's like where the springs are. I think there's a more an abundance of water. I'm more at the lower of the aquifer, and there's also a lot of military and industry that's been around me. So maybe things are settling here, but where the water's more abundant and flowing, it's less. So Chad, we can test the water at your place. I can show you the testing that I got and love to support you on that journey if you're interested. Um, so yeah, so it's just about testing at this point. We have the tools. It's not too much money. The radiation test for water is about $130. And then testing for food samples is going to be, a few $100s or something at a time. I'm still researching that. So that's one of the tasks to do that either I can do or we can do. Start getting the exact costs, making a plan, a budget, getting focused on what we want to test, getting that done. So yeah, so that's the solution. Testing it, then finding out where it's coming from, and removing that from the soils, filtering it from the waters. And we're an advanced nation. I mean, we can be doing this. We're building these amazing technologies for war and AI and all these things. We could be using our power and our to purify the planet. So that's what this is about. It's like let's think about that. Like, yeah, why this should be a priority. So that's what this is all about. If this is a priority for us, we can do it. We can make it happen. So it's about talking to our neighbors, talking to our family, the strangers, and getting this conversation going out there, talking to local governments, different organizations that care, and just adding to the conversation that this is important and this is what we can do. And with steady consistency, we'll get there. We just have to stay focused and not give up. And with teamwork, the dream work happens. So as we collectively come together, our powers will be combined and we'll overcome any obstacles. One of the amazing things that I've been finding out is that we can use plants to detox heavy metals. Sunflowers, hemp is a big one because it's deep roots. Um, but then the question is, what do you do with that? So say you remedy that, where does it go? So I want to start interviewing people in this field. Maybe we can have a podcast with them and have these conversations and find out what's the latest awareness? Where's the cutting edge knowledge on this? What are the results? What's happening? So that's inspiring to me, and I'd love to find out who we should focus on. And also mushrooms. Mushrooms can remove toxins, enzymes were found to be a promising for PFAS, the forever chemicals. So that's amazing. I'll talk about that a little bit more. One fact that really blew me away was around arsenic because it's commonly found in rice, and 30,000 tons were sprayed onto American soils, and it was eventually phased out, but it's still in the soil. And so when a farm converts to organic, they're not testing for this. They're not testing the soil. They're only testing and finding proof. It's more about proof, really, of are there pesticides that have been sprayed? And if not, then you become organic. And so it's more about the pesticides and GMOs. But this is a big piece of the puzzle. And I don't know why it wasn't included, but I also know industry and everything, they just want to brush this stuff under the rug and just forget about it. But it's time we bring light to this. This is the moment we bring light to that. So cotton fields were commonly sprayed with a lot of arsenic, and then they started growing rice on that. So different parts of the United States and the world have different levels. There's testing. I looked this up with Leaf recently, and areas like Texas and Louisiana, areas in the South where they used a lot of this, they're going to have higher arsenic in their rice compared to areas of California or Pakistan or India where it's more traditionally grown. But there's still levels in all of them. There's no like pure source of rice, but we did find a way you can boil the rice, pour out the water, and you're going to have less arsenic. So there are ways to adapt. We can also just not eat rice, and we can also grow our own food in our own local communities and support farmers that are certifying their land as being pure, and we can support that, support the local food movement. And that's really, I think, the longer term goal here. Um, Yeah, so to me, it's about prioritizing this, is making this a priority, and it's up to us as men here. I'm glad there's that my close men friends have shown up for the meeting today. Thank you, brothers. So it's up to us as fathers, protectors of the land, and any women watching this, they're our mothers. It's time to protect our future and our children, and just making it a priority. We have the resources. We just got to make it happen and say that this is important because this is a root issue. if we're having toxic bodies, like everything's going to break down over time. It's like it's gunk in the system, and it's going to hold us back. And we don't we I think you're on board with that. So I'm halfway through the presentation, and then I want to have a discussion with everybody. So thanks for hanging in here. And if you watch this later, just leave your comments. I want to have the next meeting be feedback and discussion and co-creation. So I was talking a little bit about PFAS. It's another chemical that's in our water. It was on nonstick cookware. We're creating new options now. There's a they call it DWR, durable water repellent. It's like a coating that goes on rain jackets. So the industry is transforming to this issue is getting traction, but it's still in there, and they call it a forever chemical, and it's a fluorine, so it interacts with iodine yeah, in the body and it's also doing things in the liver. We're still not exactly sure what's going on, but it's obvious that it's not good. There's no one saying it's safe. So enzymes, I just saw in the news, were reported to show promise in breaking this stuff down. So that's exciting. So I'd love for us, our movement and what we do to support this, or just to have governments and everyone just let's invest in this. I want to see us investing into technologies that are going to purify the planet. I think that's really important. So for us, local governments, leadership, politicians, all of that, this is the wave we're creating right now. So chocolate, that was another one, what kind of started me on this journey, man. I think it was Consumer Reports put out a report, and chocolate was tested to have high levels of cadmium and lead, even the organic sources. So this was like the first thing that really I was like, oh no. Um, so, they were like I said before, they were sprayed and then they became organic, but the soil was still full of these things. So that's a bummer, but that's also a business opportunity. It's a business opportunity for any of us here, to create like with what I got going down in Belize. It's a pure area. They're growing cacao down there. We could help local farmers grow cacao in pure soil. Same with Gabriel up there in Mexico. Chad, whatever you could help with the processing or connect dots on here. There's Jeff, our friend Chris, he's really motivated about this, about conscious sources. And I wish he was here, but he's here in spirit. So, all of us, this is all a business opportunity too for us, for anybody to say, okay, we're going to create trusted, pure sources of these food products, have them labeled, certified in a way. And there's a market for that. There's definitely a market for concerned moms and dads to have pure food for themselves and their children. A woman that's done a lot of testing so far, she's called Lead Safe Mama, Tamara Rubin. So her website, Leaf found, and it it's amazing, really amazing, and really sad too. So many things are like contaminated, including sea salt. So we luckily have found some sea salts that we like. They come from the high parts of the planet, and one of them is a spring. I think it's in France that we get. So it's a spring that's salty. So it's coming from the earth and it's been tested. So again, it's about products that have been tested and certified to be clean. So she's a resource, has a website. There also can be an organization with resources, with a website with a list. So that's something we can create as a group, something we can do, become our own certifiers, our own source, or we can also just support what she's doing. If we're feeling like she's doing a great job, we can support her and have her grow her business, let her lead it, just wherever this movement wants to go. But it's definitely, I think, an opportunity to have a safe, trusted source. That's what Chris wanted to do. So I'll be talking with him, seeing where he's at with all that, and it's an opportunity. So problem, solution. It's a permaculture thing, right? The problem is the solution. So staying positive, can stay positive. We can have fun through this. We can make it through the other side happier, healthier, and wealthier. So, like I said, we can support who's already doing this work. So that's a piece of the puzzle, or we can create our own organizations. our own businesses. We can encourage the government to update organic standards to say that organic standards include the testing of the soil and then also includes support for farmers to purify their soil. And they probably would need to be paid for not farming for however many years to take to purify their land. So that can encourage a lot of people to go organic. Like, okay, wow, we're just gonna grow these things and purify the land, and I'm gonna get paid. And if we care, we can do it. We don't have to spend money on a golden dome of missiles and nuclear weapons and all these things. We can say, no, no, not. It's more important to do this, and let's do peace instead. Let's talk to each other and work things out, and let's focus on taking care of our people. And we can also lead as a nation too. As we fix this, we can become experts, go to other countries, help them purify, build relations that way. We can create a peaceful world that way. Economic opportunities, caring about people versus having this economic might of like, we have the biggest sword, don't mess with us, and that's a priority. Or it could be more like, we care about you, we're going to help you, we're all in this together, and that creates the peace. So one of the other things to do is to purify all our drinking and agricultural water. I mean, government's role is to protect its citizens. That's what we have defense for. So the government's role is to protect us, and we could be making a priority that every citizen has a water purifier, and also the farmers that are growing food, if there's something in their water, we can create systems that purifies that. It's possible, it's out there. It's just having the funding to do it. So if we make it a priority, if having a pure planet is a priority, we can do that. And it could start with just small scale, one farm at a time that we could do it and show that it's possible. And over time, more and more people said, yeah, oh my God, it only costs this much. And with economies of scale, getting more systems, the cost goes down and then it becomes normal. Like we did that with cars. When cars first came out, there was pollution and the exhaust was pumping out all sorts of toxic things that were messing up people's lungs. I'm from California. My mom remembers in LA, just the smog, how bad it was. And enough people showed up and did something. But that was like obvious. You could see the smog, you could see the haze and be like, okay, there's something here. Let's do about it. I can smell it. I can breathe it. It's real. But these issues that I'm talking about, they're invisible. But all we can notice is that we're noticing the world is sick and the world is like just something's not right. We have these high rates of cancer and other diseases, and even kids are getting cancer. It's not right. So there's an invisible war. It's up to us with testing and science and our hearts. We can make this obvious that this is an issue, and then we can choose. We're going to fix this together. Uh, Being here with you guys, maybe I've talked to all of you about this already, but whoever's watching this in the recording, this is also an opportunity to share health awareness that might not be promoted because it's not profitable. Like with cancer, one of the I'm reading a book on baking soda, and in an acid environment, cancer thrives, but in a balanced or slightly alkaline environment, cancer can't survive. So baking soda is like the cheapest medicine out there. I've been taking it and I'm feeling better. And I've also met people along the journey that have like acid reflux. They're going to take medicine for their heartburn. And it's like just have a little bit of baking soda and it's like magic. The heartburn goes away. Because most of our food is acidic. We're not eating enough vegetables, and even the water we're drinking is acidic. There's just so much acid, which is part of the root of disease. So in this awareness, we can start helping people know that there's a really cheap, almost free ways to help your body become stronger. And so baking soda is a big one. Iodine, we need at least 100 times what the government is saying to make an element that regulates cell death. It's called iodolactone. So it does cell cleanup. So that's an anti-cancer thing. There's a great book from a doctor who's helped thousands of people. And here in Florida, a local woman was raising awareness. She sells the 5 salts. Jeff, you might know who she is. You've got it right there. You've got it right there, brother. You know that you know it. So a local woman made an effort to get the word out. And then I remember reading the book at a park and someone came by just randomly. I know that book. It's great. So that's what these moments are. about is about us creating a wave, creating this momentum where it affects the next people that we talk to, and then they tell one or two people, and then they tell one or two people, and it becomes exponential. So having the courage to start, that's what this is all about and why I'm here with you. The other two things to talk about is EMF awareness is a big one. It's another subtle thing that we can't see. I'm feeling way better now that I've removed EMFs as much as I can from my world. And also I'm realizing how essential it is for the body to heal by having a stress-free environment. So the EMF acts as like a subtle stress upon the body. And when you're having it 24/7, the body's under constant stress. And so constant stress is going to create inflammation and just like the body's on alert. So it's not in the repair state. The repair state comes when the body's relaxed, the nervous system calms down. We're in that parasympathetic nervous system state, which we can control consciously through deep, slow breathing. So letting people know to really heal, we have to be at rest. We have to have these sleep sanctuaries, and also we can where we're working and where we're living, just continue to reduce unnecessary radiation exposure. We can use it here and there as needed. I sometimes use my phone, and I just don't use it a lot. I just use it for a little bit, but I plug everything in. I plug everything in. My phone's usually on airplane mode, and I plug in to a wired Ethernet, feeling much better. When people come to my house, they go, "Oh, wow, it feels so peaceful here." It's like, yeah, yeah, you're not being stimulated by it. So it's like this subtle thing, but we're overloaded in this world with so many things that I think people have lost touch with what pure is. So that's part of what I'm doing down in Belize is to create a pure place where you go, oh yeah, this is what life's like. So nitric oxide, last one here, EMF reduces nitric oxide. There's a cellular function that happens from the energy. It opens a calcium cell. There's a chain reaction of the body's response to that. It reduces nitric oxide, which is essential for our circulation, for energy. Bodybuilders take this to work out. So I've been taking some, I have more energy. When I'm in this modern environment, I take that and it keeps me going. So you can get it naturally from arugula and beets, but there's also some supplements from amino acids. I think it's arginine. Um, I don't have it in front of me, but that's a big one, nitric oxide. And also it goes down as we age. So I'm in my 40s, so I'm naturally going to be going down anyways. So I've been supplementing with that. I'm feeling a lot better. And also exercise. Exercise naturally increases nitric oxide. And on a side note, it was interesting researching this. People were saying like a blueberry smoothie, which is like high in antioxidants, can actually counteract the natural nitric oxide that you're making when you're working out. So I thought that's a fascinating subject to go into. Um, but the point is that EMFs lower that, age lowers that. So that's something to consider supplementing, adding more arugula, a little bit of beets to your diet occasionally, and make sure you're exercising. And also that's the detoxing. I talked about that at the beginning, but again, exercising, getting the lymphs going, um, sweating's going to detox. I don't know. I don't think I talked about it in here, but I'll mention it now again. Spirulina, chlorella, they're algae. They're high in chlorophyll. That's one way to remove heavy metals and other toxins. Fulvic acid from shilajit. And I think there's other sources of that. Still learning about that element, fulvic acid, but that will bind to metals and remove them. Also, it's full of trace minerals, so that's going to help in a lot of body functions. Um, and what else? Oh, cilantro. Cilantro is another one that's to bring things down. So those are the three things that I can recommend. I'm also trying this other one here. Kind of on the fence around it. It's not like a completely natural thing, but the reviews were amazing. Like I said, the families were saying their kids that had autism for 10 years were like reversing after taking this. It's a zeolite. It's a nano zeolite from Touchstone Essentials. So I'm trying this out. But the other ones are proven to work. There was a functional medicine doctor who said he saw a 90% reduction in 40 days using the cilantro and the fulvic acid and spirulina. So those are tried and true ones. What else is on my list here? Okay, so then the other piece of this puzzle is like the solution. We're in this grid where like I've been flying around America and you can just look from the top down and we're in this machine, man. We're in this machine. Cars, trucks, trains, roads, just everything's about movement. Things are going around. And in Belize, it's like I'm in a village and they're planting corn right there in the next door and down the road, and the beans are there, the coconuts are there. The homes are right there. It's everything's a lot slower pace of life. The whole country really has food growing everywhere. There's a lot of areas where just it's you're on Belizean time, they say. So it's a wonderful reminder of how life used to be. When I go down there, it feels like I'm in the 80s or the 90s again, how it felt in California. So when I'm flying back and I'm like, oh my God, I feel all the stress and everything. I'm like, this isn't right. So I'm going to be moving forward. I'm going to be making this happen in my life. This is another business opportunity that we can all collaborate in, or you can go on your own, whoever's watching this. But this is really how I would like to see us designing societies again. Instead of removing a whole tract of farm and putting in houses by themselves with no ability to grow food at a substantial level, we could keep like 50% of it as farm and then have houses around it. And then there's a local job right there to grow food for their community. And you can also trust that it's pure because it's in your backyard and you're keeping an eye on everything. And you wouldn't want to pollute out of your house because it goes right into the soil and the water right there. So it, it it's there's a lot of benefits. Also, I think it'd be great for people to have more walkable communities. You can wake up and you can walk to work, ride your bike. You don't have to get in the car, get into traffic, be disconnected from the earth, smelling exhaust, that whole stress. Just wake up, walk out on the farm, keep an eye on the plants, and life's so much easier down there. Their cost of living's way lower. It's a slower pace of life. Sometimes it's a lot of work in harvest and planting times, but then there's a lot of time, a lot of hammock time, a lot of great hammock time. And it's also the camaraderie when you're together growing food. There's an amazing energy around that. It's like there's brotherhood or sisterhood or family. There's a lot of family vibes. So I'm really grateful to be part of that. And I'd love to see more of that in America. I know there are agro hoods happening. That's a term, that's a legal way to get it done. But I'd also love to see a movement, like especially here in Florida and other places, we're talking about radical things like removing property taxes or whatever. There's an opportunity to be radical right now, and I'd love to see us removing zoning laws because right now, like in Florida, one of the reasons why I didn't do something here is because they say you can only have one house per 10 acres, and I didn't want to fight with the government. So I went to where it was easier. But then there's other guys like, Jim and other people here that are just doing it. They're just like, we're going to do this, and this is my God-given right. And so we can change laws and challenge laws in the court. That's how law is made. The law is made to be changed in the court of law. So if the fight happens, just have to make our case. We have to get community support that this is a good thing, and then we're okay. So doing this in an environment where we feel we have community support, we're going to be okay. So we can change the laws just head on, just doing this. I think that's really where we're headed, but it also can be a proposal that we can do and say, hey, we want to have more local food. And so we want to give people the ability to have more people living on the farm to grow food, and it'll grow our economy, make us healthier and safer. And there's gonna be more eyes on what's going on, and that's also how it's in Belize and with the Mayans. Like people are aware, like you can't screw somebody over because they're your neighbor. They're not going anywhere. Whereas in our economy, we're driving around and so transient that we don't really care. We could screw somebody over and like we'll never see them again, kind of thing. But when we have these local communities, you have to be more in integrity. You have to really be careful about how you treat others because it's going to last for your whole lifetime, your reputation. And so you want to have a good reputation and you want to help people. So it motivates more goodness. All right, so I got to the end here. So the tasks that we're at is to test what we're eating and we're drinking. So I've tested my water. The next step is for me to test what I've been eating. We can also do this collectively in our communities, our farms. So finding a single origin is ideal. So to know that, okay, if I test this farm and I buy from this farm, I'm going to be safe. So building these trusted sources. If we just test, something random and like, how can we make sure we're going to get it again? So that's what this is about. It's like, how can we find where the food's going to be pure and trust in that and support them and keep that going. And if we do find something that's not pure, then how can we support them to purify their land? And that's why I want to talk with experts who are doing this work to learn, okay, what does it cost? What's the timeline? What are the results? And like for each metal, like how is it working with arsenic? How's it working with cadmium, mercury, all these elements to find the niche plant. So that's fascinating to me. I'd love to interview these guys. We can keep doing meetings. We can talk with them, get their word out, start sharing this out. And then also some questions like, are there grain companies already testing for heavy metals? Maybe there's already a brand out there. So emailing in and asking, hey, are you testing your food? Do you have any results to share? So this is a task that someone can do. I can do when I get time. Someone can do it if they are inspired. So we can have a dialogue around this, like tasks to do and execute them together and come back and meet and have fun with this. So this is the call to action. This is the time to choose your own adventure. You can have fun. You have the free will to choose whatever you want to do. So whatever this inspired in you, I'd love to hear that when we're talking. Like what inspired you? And I would encourage you to share that inspiration with your family and your friends and even strangers at the grocery store or the post office or wherever you are, and to be positive and solution oriented and use phrases. I would encourage using phrases like did you know? Like in a question, people are more receptive to that. So like, did you know that organic food is not testing for heavy metals? Did you know that? Like, oh, what's heavy metals? Be like, and then we can explain that, or like, it starts a conversation. Like a did you know is an invitation to start the conversation. Whereas a lot of times with activism, we're just blasting people with information and they're not ready to receive it. So if we can create that opportunity to invite someone to be ready to receive the information, then they're going to be more it's going to be better use of our time. It's going to feel better. There's going to be more connection, and then good things happen with connection versus we have to move out of resistance. We might be angry about this. We might be frustrated around this, but ultimately most people in our community are just innocent souls trying to survive and they have no idea and they're not the problem. So, but they can be part of the solution if we invite them into, hey, this is what we're going to be doing. There's a group. We're getting the word out about this. Our goal is to create a pure planet and check it out. Maybe we give them a flyer or a business card, or send them a website or something. So just a reminder here at the end that change happens when we start thinking together. We start focusing on the goal. So this conversation we have with strangers in our community, there's a magic in the collective consciousness. And we start thinking about these things. It starts affecting the world around us. I've watched this happen through my whole life. I've been part of these movements where we start something from scratch and then all of a sudden it becomes normal. So it's like the 100th monkey effect, they say. You affect one monkey far away and then these other 100 monkeys, totally unrelated, they start doing the same behavior because they learned it in this other dimension that where our minds and our hearts are connected. So we do have power, even in just that one strange conversation we have with a random person that might feel awkward, but that creates a ripple effect and gets them thinking. And the more we do this, we're going to create a wave of change. So next steps is let's share progress together. Let's message me, guys. Tell me what happened in the next week or two. Talk to people about this. See what happens. Like let's have a conversation. Send me messages, or we can send messages to the group. I can create a Telegram channel, and we can all update each other on what's going on. Let's keep the momentum going. Let's keep the positive energy going, and I'll continue to host calls that are more co-creative and more strategy calls and what we all want to do this together. So thank you for listening to me, listening to my heart and being open to what I'm sharing. And the next steps it's about us. It's about what we want to do together. And I want everyone to feel empowered that they're a creator of their reality and each one of you has gifts beyond what I have. You know, I don't know it all. I know some and I'm motivated to move forward, but I know you all have your own unique gifts and what you can bring to the table, and I'm honored that you're even considering helping and open to it. So I'm staying in that infinite possibilities of my heart, my open heart, and I'm looking forward to more connections with y'all and whoever's watching this later too. So now let's talk, guys. So share your heart. You know, what inspired you? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Yes, Wayne.
Hey, Zach, I came in late. Oh, sorry about that. But I really appreciate all the information, and we've been friends long enough. I know where your heart is. So this is, I say, a massive project because but I love it, and I think what I've seen in all the networks is that we all have our little groups, and we'll have the WhatsApps and the Telegrams and the social media going, and the emails and newsletters. And so if we have a person like you leading us, and we can support that by pushing through our channels, then I'm in. And I'll do my part, obviously, in my community, but anything that you have, because you're speaking from a lot of experience there and you're doing a lot of groundwork. So just by sharing blast, I can definitely push it through, and that's how I can be involved. And thank you for doing that. I appreciate that. And I recognize some people who's in the Zoom call, and thank you guys for being here. Jeff, I know very well. He's a doer. Chad over there, a doer. Some of the other guys. So I appreciate them being there, and it's a good group, and I'm in.
Oh,
Thank
beautiful,
you.
brother. Thank you, man.
Hey man, I'll hop on that. Yeah, Wayne's a good guy, and I'm all for doing this kind of stuff. The thing that got my attention, I mean, there was a lot of stuff in there that you had mentioned, Zach, but the whole thing about testing the water. I mean, I've got well water where I'm at, and yeah, I thought about testing it, but I never thought about. I mean, we have had it tested, and it's okay, but it's been a few years, so I need to do it again. But I'm worried about the radiation stuff now. It's like, what the heck is going on with that? I had no idea that you could actually test for that. So that was a new bit of information. So thanks for that. And I'm with Wayne, man. Anything we can do to push it out through our volunteer channel or whatever. Yeah, I'd love to be on these regularly and just see everyone having their environments get cleaner and cleaner. And I'm with you on the EMF stuff, Zach. I just don't have Wi-Fi or anything at my place, and it's like I'd love to get into that more and like figure out what's going on with the wiring in the wall. And I mean, there's just it's crazy that you have to be this vigilant on this stuff just to stay healthy. So
Yeah.
anyway, thanks for all that. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Gabriel, do you want to go next?
Sure thing. So many things to be able to say, and we don't really have a time frame here, so I'll just keep it brief. But it is so important, and we're just scratching the surface on this stuff. Not nitric oxide. I recently discovered that so the nose mixes the oxygen that we breathe in with nitrogen to create the nitric oxide that goes into our system, and it creates vasodilation, which aids circulation. The things you've listed, arugula and beets, etc. One of the things that we can do is hum. And the yogis discovered this how many thousands of years ago? But just by literally humming, we're using the nasal passage in a way that massively increases the amount of nitric oxide that is produced by the natural process of breathing. And so we can amplify that result. And I guess my point on this is that there are so many little techniques and considerations and things that we don't know, and just plain blind naive ignorance. And I'm really keen on gathering that stuff and having systems so that we're not having to try and remember, oh, what was that thing that guy said on that podcast once upon a time? We need this stuff to be accessible and habitual. And so part of that cleaning up the environment, for me, it's about facilitating the good habits, the good deeds, the good methods, and making that such a comfortable, automatic, relatable, shared experience that we really work with the environment, that clean environment, and just have that amazing ease of healthy protocols and living that I think we all ideally we all want and deserve. I'll say one other thing: marketing, community development. It's no easy thing, in my experience and opinion. Maybe that's a bad attitude, and I'd love to see myself proven wrong. I believe, and I think whoever it was that spoke first kind of shared this sentiment, that we are involved in so many things. And one of the troubles that I've seen with groups that begin is they're not entire, like there's a founder and the thing reflects their personality. I believe that every one of us should think of ourselves as a founder of our own thing and find ways to partner or to demonstrate a collaborative marketing program with each other. And then by doing that, we develop an ecosystem and we amplify the voice and the message of everyone while catering to the particular nuance, personality quirks, or interest or propensity of each individual, instead of try and kind of bend ourselves to the shape of someone else's approach. I know that was said very succinctly, but I really think it's to me, it's important to say it. So I've got various projects. I can see being able to present my brand as in a collaborative partnership with Purify the Planet, or your expression, and show that we have joint content, joint media, and we're amplifying both while retaining the integrity and the power of our individual approaches. So again, just putting that out there. Thanks for the presentation, Zach.
I love it. I love it. I'd like to respond. We have one more guest here, GeoRay. Would you like to share, and then we can have a discussion? Or should I respond to Gabriel? Well, Gabriel, I'll respond to you. So I loved what you shared, and I'm 100% with it. This is exactly what I wanted to do. Oh, here we go. So GeoRay, did you want to share?
Yes, I want to share something.
Okay. Yes, please do,
Yeah.
brother. And then I'll respond to you and Gabriel.
Okay, I will surely come late. I'm actually in Kenya. My time is different. It's midnight here, and I'm very happy about this program. Actually, I'm always dealing with permaculture, and I'm very grateful for the information. I think that I've missed a lot what we've said, and I need to have some notebook for me to have more information about what you said, because it's a great knowledge, and we need also to share more and more and more to learn how to live healthy and live a life that is very good in matters of our nutrition, our environment, with our community. So in matters of the project and the community here, we've been so far because we have a fertile land that we always use the organic fertilizer manures. We don't buy them, but we just use the ones for the cows and the sheep and the goat and the hens that make at least our food be better. We started the project in 2020, the Corona holiday, and it has expanded a lot, and it's great. And we see the great impact here. So as we continue, let's share more and learn more. Thank you.
Oh, wow, brother. It's an honor to have you here, man. Let's keep it going. I'll send you the recording so you can hear everything. And I'd love to get
Yes.
your feedback and any questions that you have. Reach out to me anytime, brother. And I'll create a group chat for this too, so we can all plug in. I'd love to talk to Gabriel about what he brought up about, like, it's an umbrella organization like that we can be doing that. What came to me right now is, Gabriel, like, we can have a group chat. We can keep building our network and have momentum with the theme of a pure planet, that you can talk about what you're doing in your organization. I know you're creating a lot and you've shared a bit with me, and we could give you the opportunity to share and just bring people together, just bring people under this umbrella of the theme of we all want a pure planet. We can create a name together. This is unnamed as of yet, but the intention is to create a pure planet. May take 7 generations. I don't know, but that's the goal, and we're gonna get there one step at a time. And like I said before, that my intention here is to empower everybody to follow their own heart and become their own leader. And we all have our gifts. So I loved what you were saying about that we can work together, and let's do it. Let's keep gathering and bring people in. Like I said, I wanted to find the people that are doing this work, that know how to clean soils. Let's all have a conversation with them. Wherever we're inspired, let's chat, like, oh yeah, let's do this, and like, let's do it. I want this to be fun. And when there's that good energy, more people are going to get inspired as well, and the energy will keep growing. So I want to keep that theme of fun and inspired, and also it's open to where the group energy goes, and whoever's inspired and inspiring, let's support them and help this be momentum for all of our own individual projects. Do you have feedback, Gabriel? Was that kind of, did I touch on what you were touching on, or is there more?
Yeah. It's great, and I think this is the future. I don't want it to take 7 generations. I take I take offense to the idea that it needs to take 7 generations. Let's
Doesn't
make it
have to.
happen. Yeah, let's make it happen fast. But yeah, the idea, the intention, I think it's important um to push that agenda. I think everyone should have our own brand. We should be a brand unto ourselves and learn how to express and share our perspective on things, and to find the synergies, and to be flexible and comfortable with creating synergies amongst individuals. And I think maybe that's how we can reduce from 7 generations to one or two. So I'm hearing all the right things as I see it as well, Zach. Thank you.
Okay, I just want to follow up that what I'd like to see us do is that we get organized with our messaging, our marketing network, and then we can support each other. So like when whoever's turn it is to message, that we can then in turn send messages out. And we would do this because we're all inspired about it. It's not that we have to, but we're all together like excited about something, and we're all feeling the good energy, and it's going to support everyone. And ultimately there's this magic I didn't talk about, but there's the law of giving and receiving. And as we start giving and we send energy out and help others, that creates a wave and it comes back into more blessings to us. So this is one of the principles of being human and this nature of this life. So by us helping others and showing up and giving, it doesn't have to be our complete life, but just a little bit, just giving more in balance, then we create this wave to receive. And that's really important for us to just keep in mind in all our endeavors. So thanks guys for being part of the meeting. I'll create a Telegram channel if that's a good space for everybody. I'm open to wherever we want to meet. I know there's many options. I'll start there. I'll share the recording. I'll put it on Facebook. And please, if you're inspired, share this out to your networks. And anyone's watching the recording, just get this word out and we'll keep this going. And we'll keep chatting and see where the juices are going, where our hearts are feeling alive, and just keep adding our own passion and our own projects. And you're free to share. There's no rules here. I just want to there's no rules. You can do whatever you want, just as long as it's like heart-based, I guess. Try to be positive. There's some guidelines, but we can be authentic if we're frustrated, we're angry, whatever. You're all welcome. All hearts are welcome here. It's how we actually get into our powers. We get in touch with all our emotions. So I want to create a safe place online here in the groups. Just be real. Let's be raw. Let's open our energy centers. Let's do this. Let's attack this invisible enemy of these toxins, get people to realize that this is happening, and they can start choosing healthier choices of living and eating. And that's how it's going to go. We have to make the invisible visible. So finding artists to join the cause, making art in any way, supporting the artists already there. Maybe they already exist. Maybe that's a task for someone to do homework for the week. Like, okay, who's making art around heavy metals, or maybe we use AI, whatever. But this is the goal. This is the goal, to make the invisible visible. Once we see it, we'll realize we have to remove it, and then it'll be gone over time. Bless you guys. Thank you so much, and we'll keep this going. Goodbye for now. Talk to you soon.